Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another Coinsider live stream. And in today's Alpha Hour, we're going to be talking all about airdrops with our resident airdrop expert, GPTJosh, who is a longtime host of this channel and also in Retail DAO. For those who don't know you, though, Josh, can you give them a quick overview?
Hello, everybody. My name is Josh, aka GPT Josh. You might have seen me on the Coinsider channel over the last year or so, dropping alpha, making videos, and just making great content here with Kevin. But I've been airdrop hunting for years now, and there's been some interesting things going on in the space. Can't wait to jump into it. And overall, I'll just say I'm a fellow degen, just like you all out there, just chasing that crypto hustle. So excited to talk about some good alpha today.
Awesome. So today, in this Alpha Hour, in this episode, we want to mainly focus on airdrops, because Josh has honestly one of the most experienced airdrop hunters, done a bunch, seen them all. But you also wanted to say real quick about Token 2049, right?
Yes, before we get into all of that, Token 2049 Dubai is coming up very, very soon. If you're a builder, if you are an investor, if you're a user, if you are a content creator, a KOL, that is the place to be. Pretty much everyone who's doing something in crypto is going to be out for Crypto Week Dubai, and especially for Token 2049, which is the main event over there. And I'm happy to say that we have a discount for the Coinsider community. So if you actually are planning to come to Token 2049, you can get 10% off using the code CoinSider10, and I hope to see you all out there. We're gonna go ahead and leave that in the description as well, so that
it's
nice
in the description. It's in the description, and so is Josh's X profile. So be sure to follow him if you want to get more great airdrop alpha. So, Josh, without further ado, let's dive right in. What is the first airdrop you want to share with the audience that you're thinking about or farming?
Right. Real quick before we get into that, I kind of want to just talk about the state of airdrops today, right?
That's a great idea.
A lot of users have been, turned off from airdrops. There's some airdrops that you might farm for a long time and it may not hit like you thought it would hit, or sometimes you might even lose money. For example, today an airdrop came out that a lot of the Solana community was aware of called Pause, and the average recipient, I believe, got $1 or $2. And there was, of course, a huge FUD storm on Twitter and a lot of disgruntled users. But I'm here to say that airdrops aren't dead. So I kind of wanted to answer the question if airdrops are dead or not. Just recently, we saw the Walrus airdrop over on Sui, which a lot of my colleagues received and was very lucrative. And just another sign that airdrop hunting definitely isn't dead, and there are still quality ones out there. Space definitely is a little bit more saturated, more users than in the past, so it makes things a little bit tough, but there are still definitely huge opportunities in the airdrop game, and I can't wait to dive into them today.
Awesome, for sure. Yeah, I got the Walrus one, and it was quite good. Not the best one, of course, but still not bad for this current environment.
Yeah, what was your experience like with the Walrus ecosystem, Walrus airdrop? And do you want to quickly tell the users why you were eligible for it and how you got that?
Just did some sweet stuff and worked with the team and whatnot. So they told me about it and was able to qualify quite easily.
Nice.
But yeah, that one was quite a good surprise. But I want to hear about you though. Like, I'm sure you have a lot on deck today for our viewers who want to farm airdrops. So what's the first one you want to dive into?
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So keeping things on Sui, a lot of the times when you see a new ecosystem, there's kind of a lot of hype around it, a lot of attention on it, and you can see this success continue to snowball into other projects. So definitely I am farming projects within the Sui ecosystem following the success of Walrus. And then the first project that comes to mind is actually called Hadel. That's Haedal. Hadel over on Sui. So pretty much that's a liquid staking protocol. You can go ahead and stake your Sui tokens or even your Walrus tokens, help secure the network, but in return, you get HaSui, which is an LST, a liquid staking token derivative, but you can also go ahead and use that in DeFi and use that in lending and borrowing protocols as well. all while farming for the HADL token in the future, which is going to have an airdrop. So that's probably the first one that comes to mind and the first one on the list. I like farming airdrops like this just on the fact that you're already earning and farming DeFi anyway. You may as well go ahead and do it on a pre-launch protocol or pre-token protocol like HADL, which has a lot of hype, good funding, great utility, and it's pretty much like you're using DeFi as you would, and it could potentially deliver a big airdrop and doesn't really require things like daily tasks. You just go ahead and stake, you do your trading as you normally would, and could potentially get that airdrop. So that's the first one on the list there.
Airdrop for liquidity, pretty self-explanatory. No need to grind random stuff.
Exactly. Daily check-ins, daily tasks. Sometimes those could be tedious and under-delivered.
So you can see my screen, right? I'm sharing the screen of things that you say.
Yep. So exactly. You are in HADL right now. If you want to go to launch app. Yeah, you don't really have to connect your wallet, but you can kind of get an idea there. So basically what I do, yeah, you can go ahead and see. That's another thing you want to see with these protocols, how much TVL is on there, and that kind of goes to show you how much users trust it. If you're feeling a way about connecting your wallet or joining a new airdrop, you can go ahead and see what the community is doing and see how many people are actually trusting the protocol with their money and their liquidity. As you can see, $121 million worth of SUI is staked on HADL from users. Very
3% APY. Yeah.
3% APY. Now, this is just on the base staking, but there's a lot of other cool DeFi functions you can do to earn a higher APY as well. So pretty much you would have your SUI or you would have your Walrus, which they just added, and you simply go ahead and you would hit stake, just where it says connect wallet. If you had it connected, it would just say stake. And in return, you get their liquid staking token, which is completely tradable on the open market. You can use it in DeFi. You can just hold it. And over time, this is accruing. I guess they don't have a live point system. It's kind of like a quiet behind the scenes point system that's going to go into their airdrop. The longer you stake and participate on here, the more you do, the more likely you are to get the airdrop. If you actually want to go back to that page really quickly, if you wouldn't mind, the launch app. What I do, so pretty much after I've staked my SUI and I have my hash SUI, I go over to HAA Vault on the top there where it says beta. Yep. And then there you can see their different sort of strategies that you can do to provide liquidity and the different APYs. I was in that deep SUI pool for quite a while, and actually earned. Yep, you see that
1,000 plus APY. Crazy.
Yep, crazy. And for a while, there was actually so much TVL in that SUI USDC one that you actually couldn't join. So I had to wait to go ahead and provide liquidity there. So things I would just be doing anyway in DeFi, I can go ahead and do on HADL and potentially earn a lucrative airdrop. Who knows how that one's going to go? Looking forward to it. It's rumored to actually TGE this month. So we'll see what happens there. And yeah, that's like pretty much.
I hope you get a fat stack.
I hope so too. Thank you. And they have some other.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say they have some other tools that you can play around with too in the future. Different things if you wanted to try and maximize your chances of getting the airdrop. They have their own bridge, not their own, but it's powered using Wormhole. So they have a bridge. They have some different things that you can go ahead and do to interact with DeFi. So that's the first one there. HADL protocol, pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Before we get into the second one, though, I want to say everyone check out Josh's shirt, Retail DAO. If you want this airdrop alpha, but on like a daily basis, maybe not daily, but like pretty often. Yeah, you got to join Retail DAO.
Yeah.
Let me show y'all real quick. Retail DAO. I should drop this in the description too.
Absolutely.
But we're a token-gated retail investors community aiming to be the best one out there for people who take research and analysis seriously. No stupid stuff like, this influencer said this coin, so let's pump it and get dumped on. I mean, if you have a thesis for a meme coin, that's fine, but we're not like in the business of randomly like aping into influencers and getting dumped on. So y'all should join this. You can join the Discord, but to get past the token gate, you need our retail token, which we should probably add on here, by the way.
Yeah.
But actually, if you join the Discord, it's in the links. It's in the announcement and the official links, so you can get it there. It just takes a few dollars worth of retail right now to to get past the token gate. That's 20,000 retail tokens, which is like just a few bucks.
Very cheap because we're very early, right? The token only came out yesterday, so
day zero, folks. Day zero. Anyways, let's get back. Get back to the show. What is your second airdrop you would like to look at?
All right, so second airdrop. Now, these next couple ones do require some liquidity, so definitely go out there and do your own research before, aping in with all your farming funds to go and try and get these next couple of airdrops. So I will say, the risk does sort of vary between different protocols, whether it requires you actually, spending money on things like, let's say, an NFT or different functions that might cost you some money to go ahead and farm for these airdrops. So that's just a small disclaimer before I go ahead and jump into these next ones. But I will still say I'm quite excited for them. And me, myself, am actually farming these and putting my hard-earned money down to potentially try and get these airdrops. Next up, we have none other than the Sui Play. Now, the Sui Play, I think, is a very, very interesting strategy and angle if you are trying to secure airdrops in the future of the Sui ecosystem, especially around
this handheld
gaming,
device,
of course. Right? Exactly. Handheld device, similar to, let's say, the Steam Deck. You can run Steam games. You can also, of course, run blockchain games. All of the new gaming development and GameFi projects coming out on Sui is going to be a no-brainer that they implement the Sui Play. And of course, this can come with many different airdrops. So when you get your Sui Play, you actually get an NFT, which could enable you for tons of free airdrops, free tokens, digital items, and all sorts of cool things that could potentially be coming out on Sui. So if you're bullish on Sui as a whole and believe that it could be a good gaming blockchain, then I think it's a no-brainer to own a Sui Play. A few of my friends bought multiple of them.
Yeah, I think Dan got like 2 or 3 or more.
Yeah, Dan got 2 or 3. Very smart play, in my opinion. If you are bullish on the future of Sui, I think it's a no-brainer. Plus, because worst comes to worst, it does cost $5.99 US for the Sui Play. And if worst comes to worst, it's just a great gaming handheld anyway, right? You can still play like Fortnite, Call of Duty, God of War on the Sui Play. So if the airdrops aren't really hitting that big, you still have some sort of value rather than, let's say, you spent a bunch of money on this NFT and the airdrop doesn't really deliver. Well, then you're pretty much stuck, right? So with the Sui Play, at least you actually have a good gaming console if they don't hit. But I am bullish on that, and I am getting me a Sui Play. So
I have 2 questions about this. One is, do you know when it's coming out, roughly speaking?
I don't know the exact date.
Let me see if I can find it out.
I can try to pull that up. But it's still in pre-order. It's been in pre-order for quite a while.
When is the Sui Play device getting launched? Okay, let's see.
September 2nd is what I'm seeing.
It says first half of 2025. That's what they said, potentially.
Okay, so very soon. I think this could potentially spark a massive wave. If you were a Solana airdrop farmer last year, year before, mostly last year, you probably remember the Saga, right? Which was the Solana cell phone. And they actually went ahead and airdropped everyone Bonk airdropped every Saga, the first season of the Saga phone.
They got that paid out. Like,
it completely
got more
paid
than
for the phone. Yeah, exactly, and then some. And that's actually right before Bonk went on a huge rally. So that was pretty cool there. And there was some ongoing airdrops, and they're still receiving some airdrops, big, medium, small, for just having a Saga. So that reminds me a lot of the Saga. Except I think this could be potentially even cooler if GameFi starts to finally catch its stride. I think post GTA 6, we might start seeing some cool things. Who knows? Then this could be a huge play if there's some good games dropping over on Sui.
For sure. I like it. That's a smart idea.
Yeah. I love it. So if you want to speculate there, that is definitely something that I am looking at. If we're staying with the Sui ecosystem, there is
a lot of Sui ones. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of Sui ones. I'm actually very bullish on Sui myself. I've been playing around on Sui a lot more. It's very smooth. It's fast. It's cheap. I love the experience, the staking experience, and just everything about Sui. So I've been tapping in more and more there, and that's what brought me to Ika XYZ, which is an interesting project that claims it's going to have native Bitcoin. We're going to have native tokens on Sui. So bringing native Bitcoin to Sui, native Sol, native Ethereum, actually usable in Sui DeFi. Not a huge fan of their landing page, but I can go ahead and send you a link to their sort of DApp. So pretty much their main
you can just tell me
airdrop
about it,
campaign.
right? Can I search it myself, or is that too difficult?
It's a weird name. I'll pull it up.
Fastest parallel MPC network. What does that even
mean?
Multi-chain coordination.
Yeah, it's pretty confusing. Okay. So they have their these NFTs here. Okay, so it's called the MF Squid Market. I'm just gonna quickly send you this collection here.
MF Squid Market. Tradeport, Sui NFT.
Yeah, on Tradeport, exactly. I just sent it to you on Discord.
Oh, okay, I pulled it. I found it myself.
You found it yourself? Perfect. I'm not on the page. So yeah, pretty much these NFTs here, they have a floor price of 41. It's actually held the floor pretty well for quite some time. Pretty much these NFTs are upgradable NFTs, which are one of the big sort of functions of the Sui blockchain and Sui NFTs is that they're upgradable and you can do different things to sort of change your NFTs over time. And they've used that and made a airdrop campaign with it. I believe the time to upgrade your NFT has sort of expired. These ones, they're very, I won't say extractive, but they're using it as a way to raise funds. I believe they raised over $1.5 million from users upgrading their NFT. So for one level up, it would be one Sui. And the more you would upgrade your NFT, the more you can actually, the more points you get. And I guess there's a ranking, there's a leaderboard for these NFTs. And that kind of determines your airdrop. So there's a staking page. There's a page with tasks. Let me go ahead and pull that up. I don't like when projects have all these different sort of sites just for their same.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a good experience.
It's not really a smooth experience. And I'm not pulling this up real quick. But there's pretty much tasks you can go ahead and do to move up the leaderboards. They're claiming to do quite a lot of things. You read about that MPC sort of multi-chain functions, and they're bringing native Bitcoin onto the chain, but then they have this NFT game in like an anime style that they're doing. It's interesting. They've raised a lot of money. They've garnered a lot of users. They have the most volume on Sui NFTs right now. They're making a lot of money from this pre-sale campaign, and they do have this pre-launch campaign, and they do have the ammunition to deliver a bigger airdrop. But again, this one is sort of, you got to weigh the risks here, risk to reward ratio. There's quite a lot of users and saturation, and as far as farming, some people have spent over like $100,000 to upgrade their NFTs. The people who are dominating like the top 10, top 100. So you want to actually go ahead and make sure you do your research on that and see if this is worthwhile. Seems like it does require more capital to sort of stand for your wallet to stand out. So I'd be wary of that, but definitely one of the prominent pre-launch projects also coming out on Sui. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next one.
Still Sui ecosystem or something different?
Still Sui ecosystem.
Oh, dang, you got a lot. Okay.
But I went Sui first just kind of to keep it organized. And I see a lot of merit and potential in the future of Sui. So I like to go ahead and try to position myself early to where I think the hype could potentially be in the next few months, in the next year, next couple quarters. So there's another one actually called Steammfi with 2 M's. It's a Sui blockchain platform that actually auto lends out your unused crypto to go ahead and boost returns beyond just like standard liquidity returns, right? So just any unused crypto assets that you may have sitting around in your wallet goes ahead and auto lends that out. I thought that was kind of an interesting, novel. Steam, not crazy TVL 8.22, but still young, still early. So things like that, I'd like to go ahead and get involved in early. That's just one I thought I would just throw in honorable mention.
Honorable mention for sure.
Honorable mention because I think that's pretty cool. That they that it automatically goes ahead and uses your unused assets or assets that are sitting there to earn like a safe yield by like, lending, borrowing. You can see that they're actually followed by Sui themselves.
Oh yeah.
I like to actually look at little signs like that as like a little bit of a stamp of approval. I feel better sort of farming. That kind of takes, even though they only have 7,500 followers, it kind of takes off that obscurity badge for me when I see the greater Sui sort of foundation and ecosystem tapped in with them, working with them, following them, interacting with them. So I see that as a good sign. And I'm like, oh, maybe we're early to something that could potentially be a banger, right?
For
If
sure.
you guys remember with the Walrus airdrop, Walrus is actually incubated or pretty much made by Mistin Labs themselves, right? That's the company that made the whole Sui blockchain. So if you use that as evidence as, oh, that there must be value there, then and you farmed for Walrus, you grinded to get Walrus, you had a great airdrop. So I like to look for things where the foundation, the core Sui ecosystem and users are sort of circulating around, and I'm like, okay, that's a pick that I want to go ahead and start farming. So that is Steammfi there. Could potentially be a good early play. As you know, in crypto, it pays to be early. And then we have another one on Sui. I think this is going to be the last Sui one I'll shout.
You prepared a lot. I'm ready. Throw them at me. Hit me with them.
All right. So we got 7K AG on Twitter, 7K_AG_, or most people just call it, 7K aggregator. So pretty much to go ahead and streamlines trading, like digital asset
right?
trading.
It's pretty simple. 7K.
Very simple. You got limit orders. You can DCA to aggregator. You can do some different things. They don't have a token yet. Very straightforward. But they, exactly as it says, they try to be a smart trading ecosystem for smart traders. So you got some cool functions you can do, that maybe some functions that you would see on like a SEX that you can now do on chain on a DEX, like limit orders, DCAing strategies. That kind of reminds me of Jupiter in that sense.
Dang.
Just different things like that.
For sure.
So
the potential Jupiter of Sui.
Exactly, potentially. So you want to find those things early, right? If you knew Jupiter was going to be Jupiter early, you probably you better hop on that.
Jupiter was a banger.
Absolutely. Trying to think, is there any other Sui ones I kind of want to talk about before we move on to maybe Solana?
We can always come back if you think of something later.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I'm missing one. I talked about IKA. Yeah, that's pretty much, I say, the top Sui ones to look out for the next couple of weeks, months, quarters. You want to position yourself, get your wallet, some nice history, transaction history, some traction on these protocols, and you might go ahead and get blessed with an airdrop. And also, to be honest, some of my best airdrops I've gotten has just been from participating in DeFi, not necessarily in any specific protocol, but from just retroactive usage. Example of this was like Celestia. If you're using a lot of the new layer 2s and EVMs, such as like Arbitrum, all those different things, you got the airdrop if you saw the claim link in time, right? Just for using DeFi. So it's good to, especially with new ecosystems, to get involved, play around. You don't have to, bet the house, but just learn how different things work, interact, join these communities, and it has a way of rewarding you in many different ways.
Just be curious, just try things out. Like I think also what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is that you don't have to like think too hard and try to like game these airdrops, right? Like you just want to be like a curious, normal user, use it organically and whatnot.
Exactly. And I've been down that road before of, trying to over farm, and you almost start acting like a bot, and it starts to take out honestly, not the joy or the fun in it, but it becomes what's the word for it?
Too much of a chore or something?
Or become too much of a chore, diminishing returns. That's when you get frustrated.
Exactly.
Go ahead and use these protocols and just learn about them normally, interact them as you normally would, and you can get eligible for a lot of great airdrops. So
amazing.
Yeah. Another one I would say over on Solana that I believe could be absolutely massive is, of course, Meteora.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to pull up Meteora, pretty much, honestly, I would think one of the best dexes, or just with all these different tools when it comes to Solana. They have over just under a billion in TVL. They have, I believe, 750 million in TVL.
Yep.
Oh, you have it pulled up right here.
Yep,
there we go. And they're pre-token, so you can actually go ahead and provide liquidity. Very smooth experience. And
Meteora is a pretty big name already too.
Massive name, massive name. Definitely one I wouldn't fade on Solana. If you're already using Solana anyway, this kind of goes back to what we were just talking about. Airdrops where you're already using DeFi the way you would be anyway, you may as well go ahead and interact with tokenless protocols starting from the top down. And Meteora is a huge one. It's for just like your regular trading, for different things, for joining pre-sales, or pretty much joining their launch pads. They've launched, like, I believe they were the launch pad for, not launch pad, but they did the Trump launch. Obviously, that's like,
yeah.
Obviously, that wasn't like that's like an infamous launch, but huge protocol. I would align myself there. We're actually gonna go ahead and jump to Berachain real quick.
Okay.
And Berachain, they have top 7 TVL in crypto, despite being just a few months old. So with this comes a bunch of new opportunities as well. So first of all, Berachain's airdrop themselves was quite lucrative if you were an OG, if you were a part of the community. And through that, of course, just like we're seeing with Sui, lots of new protocols and new projects come out that could potentially be looking to ride that momentum and potentially be doing big airdrops. We've seen a few come out with, like, let's say Ooga Booga did a big airdrop. And now if you want to go ahead, what I like to do is look at the top 10 protocols by TVL on Berachain and see which ones don't have a token yet. And the number one project by TVL on Berachain is called Infrared, which is pretty much a huge liquidity hub with different DeFi strategies to earn a yield, and maximizing Berachain's new consensus model called proof of liquidity. Exactly, you just pulled it up right there. As you can see, they have 1.16 billion in TVL, which is more than some entire blockchains. And this is just one protocol on Berachain, right?
Wait, so you were saying if we cover them, we can get
I've been trying to tell you, man. You've been fading, but
is that for sure? We can, if we cover them, we can get airdrop.
I've been trying to tell you. Yes, I've been tapped in with Rado Berachain. Shout out to Rado. Shout out to Berachain. We've actually had these people on Retail Radio live in Taiwan. But this is the biggest project on Berachain. They are pretty much the biggest liquidity hub. They use Berachain's proof of liquidity, as it says, in one click, making it accessible for regular users. And this is potentially the best yield in crypto right now. And they really pretty much kill it with that stuff. So you can go ahead and see the past airdrops. You can see how Ooga Booga did. You can see how Berachain itself did. I know some users who got over 7 figures in their Berachain airdrop. Ridiculous. And so Berachain, just the whole culture, the community derived from Olympus. There's a sort of, what's the word for it? They like to do it big. They like to deliver big, like face melting airdrops, big time yields, just doing it big. And it's one of my favorite sort of cultures in crypto, Berachain as a whole. And as far as Berachain goes, you got to start with Infrared. So I wouldn't fade using Infrared. Try out some of their DeFi strategies, try out some of their yields. If you want to go to Vaults, if you want to click on Vaults up there, yep, you can scroll through and you can see different strategies, different APRs you can get, and you can actually learn about other projects too. As you're scrolling through, you see Kodiak there, there's BEX, and there's different sort of yields and strategies that you can do. Pretty much interacting with these things, you can potentially be positioning your wallet for an infrared airdrop.
Dang, this looks amazing.
Yeah, man, very, very clean. Potentially new friend of the channel. We'll see. We'll try to line something up. And I believe, just in the nature of Berachain, their top recipients are going to get blessed and print with this airdrop when it finally takes place. This is where all the liquidity is. And they're earning anywhere from 6 figures a day in fees. So that's one thing you also want to look at. how much is the protocol actually earning? This is what makes them actually able to deliver a big time airdrop. If you are an airdrop hunter, you want to see how much they're earning, how much they've raised, etc. And infrared is definitely nothing to scoff at. You could put them up there with the big dogs when it comes to earnings and when it comes to firepower. So staying on Berachain, if you want to actually pop over to let me pull it up. I believe Magic Eden, there's a NFT project called Steady Teddies. Have you heard of the Steady Teddies, Kevin?
No.
So Steady Teddies almost starting to give me vibes of back when Berachain, the Steady Teddies, almost gives me the vibes of back when Berachain was first coming out as an NFT project back in the day. Sort of those cult vibes. Art kind of reminds me a little bit of Remilio and Milady, which are also like very hand in hand with the Berachain culture and sort of how everything is. As we can see now, the floor is at 139 Bera. I'm not sure the price of Bera today. I believe maybe like close to $700 to $1,000 probably per Steady Teddy. Last I was seeing, but Steady Teddy. One thing about these cult NFT ecosystems is they many times get the red carpet to big time airdrops. For example, like if you had a Mad Lads NFT back in the day on Solana, when Wormhole did their airdrop for the W token, every user got 11K up front. If you were just holding a Mad Lad NFT, 11K in Wormhole tokens. And you see this happen time and time again. Like over on Cosmos, you see it happen with the Celestine Sloths, the Mammoths, and these NFT projects would get red carpet. Or for example, Pudgy Penguins, they pretty much get eligible for most of the big time airdrops that are taking place around, their ecosystems. So I believe Steady Teddies could be that for Berachain potentially in the next coming weeks and months. Sort of that cult community, any projects that are trying to get a really good user base of power users, they go ahead and airdrop these NFT communities. And I see Steady Teddy as the number one on Berachain.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like it.
I would look at Steady Teddies as well. And who knows, they might do an airdrop of their own as well. So that's most of my list for right now that I'm focused on.
Awesome.
How about for yourself, Kevin? Would you consider yourself you're not much of like an airdrop hunter? You get them as you use your normal DeFi, would you say?
Yeah, I'm not as much of a hunter. It's just like if there's a protocol I actually use, like Hyperliquid, for example, then I do that. But I don't really go out and farm. That's why we have you as the resident
airdrop
hunter.
farmer.
Yeah, and in the Retail DAO, like our airdrop thread is still kind of like popping.
Oh, it absolutely is
that's
popping.
Awesome.
So yeah, to all you watching out there, as Kevin just mentioned, over in the Retail DAO, all of my airdrop findings, information, things that I'm doing, things that worked out, things that didn't work out, I share all of that in the airdrop thread over in the Retail DAO. And it's not only me, there's a community of airdrop hunters. We exchange notes, we share information, we help each other with farming. There's referral links if you want to get more users onto your referral links. If you're the first to find a new protocol, we'll hop on their user link, different things like that. So it's a great way to grow.
People have been talking about Abstract lately. Have you been doing that with them?
Yeah, so with the Abstract, I've been farming a few Abstract badges just as I would as a regular user. I wasn't crazy bullish at first. I do have a lot of like sort of history, just like playing around, trading around in case it does deliver big. But just as of recently, the reason Abstract has attention again
is this one,
because, right? Yeah, you're there. If you want to enter the portal, is because of the Big token. Did you do research or did you look at Big?
No.
The Bitcoin miner sort of simulator NFT game.
Big Bitcoin miner simulator.
Big. It's pretty much it had like a massive
Bigcoin?
Wave. Bitcoin.tech. I can send it to you on it's just Bitcoin.tech.
Some have accused it of being a Ponzi. You have a badge, big badge.
It is. And so I was surprised to see that Abstract themselves would actually have a badge for this, because it is a Ponzi. It
But we
reminded
like
me a
Ponzi,
lot.
though.
It reminded me a lot of it reminded me a lot of like quote unquote DeFi in 2021, like sort of the Ponzi-nomics that you would see come out with projects like Olympus, like Rome DAO, like Titanosphere, sort of the Ponzi-nomics, like a little bit of smoke and mirrors, token inflation in like an interesting way where the ecosystem could sort of go ahead and like survive. I sent you the link to the actual DApp
Is it
on
this Bigcoin? I found it
Bitcoin.tech. Yeah,
right here.
that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So yeah, if you want to scroll through, pretty much you actually buy a virtual miner, and it has like similar, it's supposed to have similar tokenomics to Bitcoin, and then it halves, and then the pretty much they made a game, a token inflation game. The more miners you buy, once you buy that miner, that money for the miner is gone, but it's earning you big tokens every single day, and those big tokens are of course sellable on the open market. So that started sort of like a Ponzi-nomic loop, and lots of users were circulating. Early users always make the most money with these sort of Ponzi-nomic style tokens. And I was surprised to see Abstract make a badge for this, because a lot of these, or not a lot, all of them have the same fate, which usually they go to zero, trend to zero, because all these users are earning rewards and they're selling them on the open market every day. If you're not early, you're late when it comes to these projects. And yeah, so that's pretty much the story with Big, and it brought a lot of attention to Abstract and a lot of new TVL. People were bridging over just to play this game pretty much. So that brought
Makes
hype
sense.
to Abstract. So that was the story there.
Awesome. Well,
And yeah,
dude, this was amazing. There's just so much alpha packed in this time. To be honest, the main thing I wanted to chat with you about today was airdrops, and you delivered that in spades.
thanks.
Are there other topics that are on your mind, or not really right now?
Not crazy. We have the retail token just dropped yesterday. That's a big thing that happened. Token 2049 Dubai is coming up. Myself, Dan, Eddie, some of the retail DAO team and users and members and community are going to be out there. So if you do end up coming to Dubai, code Coinsider10, you save some money on the trip, and you know we can vibe. You can link up with us, different things like that.
And
And
dude,
excited to see what's going on.
you should definitely make a short proposal,
To the
short and
DAO.
easy, like yeah, to the DAO. Even though it's not like that much in monetary terms, like if you just hold it, it could be more in the future, or you can use it to vote or do whatever, right?
100%.
Or like sell it OTC even.
Yeah,
Like,
100%. I'm bullish on
and
the future of retail.
if it's for 1 mil tokens or less, we only need a snapshot vote. So that's like quick and easy, you know, like you don't have to get people to vote on Aragon or whatnot.
Yeah,
But it's up to
easy
you as
business.
to how much you want to ask. And I think it would be amazing for you to do BD for retail DAO specifically.
I would enjoy that.
Represent the community.
I would enjoy that. And yeah, as you guys can see, that's like a function of the DAO as well. We're a collective all building this DAO and pushing it forward. So different initiatives we can go ahead and put proposals in for, and that gives us a lot of flexibility and different things we can do as a DAO. So
And I really like that our DAO is starting small at
180K
170K.
170K.
And I mean the markets are still like kind of like not that great right now. So let me share.
So yeah, the beauty in that is that we can grow with the community. A lot of these projects, a lot of the growth will happen behind closed doors, and then by the time they launched, you know, the user didn't get to come along for the ride up, right? And these projects will launch at like millions in market cap, whereas we're launching at 170, like in the 170s
Yeah,
range.
people
Anyone
dumping.
who's here now is here with us for our climb, right? We didn't wait to drop the token. We let our community grow with us and enjoy the success with us. Lots of projects in 2025 are not doing that. A lot of the gains will happen behind the scenes, the development, the fundraising, whatever. And then by the time it goes live, the community has access at millions in market cap, and they didn't get to rise up with the team.
Exactly.
So with this,
I
we're rising
love
together.
starting small And these people who dump their airdrop allocations for a few dollars, they're very short-sighted, in my opinion.
Short-sighted, very
I mean,
short-sighted.
it's their prerogative. Like,
Right.
obviously, that's the point. You can buy or sell, and if they don't value this, then good riddance.
It's an open market.
But it's an open market, exactly. It's not one of those scam sell only things. But
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
bullish on this long term. It's a long path, a long journey. It's not going to be easy, but we're here to grow it together. We're here to improve it together, and we need everyone's help. We need everyone who believes in the power of retail investors
sure.
to join and help us succeed.
That's right. A
Alrighty,
lot of amazing users in there. You got Kevin, you got Dan, you got myself, even just the community, people sharing alpha. It's, to me, it's a no-brainer as far as a DAO. So,
for sure.
great place to be.
All right, Josh, thank you so much for sharing your airdrop alpha.
course.
We'll definitely need to do another stream with you in the future. Like,
Right.
obviously not like every week because not everything changes that fast, but
Right.
we'll do another one of these airdrop streams periodically because I know you're constantly looking out for new ones.
Yep, I'm on it. And maybe we can do sort of a recap when some of these tokens TGE in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
Did reference this video. Hey, if you listened to
Exactly.
this and did this, you could have made
You would have made
10,000 doing this.
XYZ. Exactly, dude. I do hope the ones you get, especially the sweet ones, are really going to give you thousands. That'd be amazing.
I hope so. I think I'm quite optimistic on it, especially the Sui play. I think is going to be quite interesting. So,
all right, later, man.
It's been real. Take care,
Catch y'all
guys.
next time.
Coinsider 10.